Hey, what is going on YouTube? It is Blue, and we are back with another video. We're back with a kill video. We have finally killed Sludgefist, and I know some of you guys have joined in on the stream, and I have been at it over a month. I don't know how many weeks. It's been quite a while. We racked up over 250 pulls in this boss, and I've gained a lot of knowledge about this fight, so I'm really excited to go ahead and play this video and just go ahead and just talk it through it. But before I go ahead and do so, you guys are going to realize once I play the video, my rotation is a little bit different than what you would expect, and I want to kind of go over the things that I have learned in this boss over 250 pulls and why my rotation is very slightly different, okay? So first things first, I go into this boss using Frenzy Band. For those of you that are not familiar with Frenzy Band, you get a really strong benefit when you combine your Berserk and your Convoke. You get an additional bleed for doing such, so it's a very strong combination. Now, what you probably know about this boss is, hey, there's pillar phases. What you ideally want to do as a Feral Druid is you kind of want to mismatch your cooldowns so that you have a cooldown roughly every slam, right? Every pillar, the boss is going to take 200 increased damage, and you want some type of cooldown for that. So what that looks like using Frenzy Band, in case you're not familiar, is you Convoke off the bat. Convoke has a fairly short cooldown. You know, that's a good thing to do. Convoke off the bat. That means our first Smash Pillar, we'll go ahead and Berserk. The second Smash Pillar, we go ahead and Convoke. Third Smash Pillar, we don't have anything left. We're kind of stalling at this point. And then for the fourth Smash Pillar, we finally combine our two for a very powerful ability. We know this is such because, hey, we're doing Frenzy Band. So whenever I get to combine my Berserk and my Convoke together, it's going to be a big chunk of damage, and that's kind of where it is. So Feral Druid on this fight, don't be discouraged about the DPS. A lot of your DPS comes through at the very end on the fourth pillar. Now, if you have a priest friend, this is actually a very good fight for you, because what we can do is we can actually align this Berserk with Convoke again. So here's a Feral Druid with the PI buff. So it's a little bit different. I'm just going to go over each scenario. Convoke off the bat. You don't do anything this first pillar. You're stalling it out. You're waiting for your Convoke to come back. Second pillar, you Berserk and Convoke. The thing about the Frenzy Band 2 that you probably don't really remember is it does reduce Berserk's cooldown by a really small margin. And then if you have PI, you are able to get Berserk off cooldown for the fourth pillar. If you do not get PI, I believe you're about 15 seconds late. So I did try this out, because optimally this is the best thing you can do, is have Berserk and Convoke for two pillars, right? So that's the best we can do. You do need PI to pull this off, but it's pretty big damage. Now, also, if you're curious and you don't run Frenzy Band, this is still going to be the same rotation. If you're running Drought, Convoke, Berserk, First Slam, Convoke, nothing, still combine them, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at my logs, and I'm going to explain why. So you can see from the very first thing is I actually Berserk and Convoke together, right? We know that these two together is a powerful cooldown. And you say, Blue, why didn't you Berserk? Why didn't you do anything for the first pillar? I would say that the first pillar, I feel very starved. And you know that Berserk is a really good cooldown. And I felt very starved. And I was like, man, this doesn't feel good. After 200 something pulls or less than that, I started just being like, hey, what's my damage after the first pillar? When I Berserk during the first pillar, what's my damage when I Berserk at the opener, and I actually get that added benefit of the Convoke. And I found for me that my damage after this first pillar with no cooldowns, but being able to combine these two, was actually better, okay? It did average to be better, but of course it kind of goes ups and downs. I found after the first pillar, if I was somewhere within 9k, 8.5k total DPS, average, then that was good. Berserk, Berserk was kind of up in the air for me, maybe 8k, maybe 8.5k, but like I said, I was able to get around 9k, sometimes 9.5k with this combination up front. Now, the thing about this fight, yes, it's good to use your cooldowns on there, but if you're pumping more damage, then it doesn't matter, right? So that's kind of what we did, and then we combined these at the end. So let's go ahead and jump to the video now that I explained that, and it's pretty boring. Some tips and tricks that I would say for you guys is this boss is going to do an AoE on the first thing. 10 seconds in, regrowth. 7 seconds in, bark skin. If you bark skin at the initial, it's going to line for every single smash. So we bark skin, we open, we pop everything. I potioned here as well. Maybe not the best. It would have been better to have potion on my 4th pillar when you have everything aligned during a pillar. But what this did for me is it got me to use 2 potions in the fight. So I don't really know there. Obviously, I wasn't able to test it since we only killed the boss once. What you're going to see here is for every AoE that the boss does, you're going to want to go in Boomkin form. If you have Heart of the Wild, which you should have it at least for 2 of those slams in the fight, you're going to Star Surge and Sunfire. But pretty easy there. You're gonna see we're popping off. So we're going Boomkin, Star Surge, Sunfire. And just so you guys are aware, Moonfire is not so great of a spell. If you are using Drought, it's a little bit better. But generally, Moonfire it's not that great of a spell. So Sunfire does way better damage. So we're trying as much. You can see our damage here is around 9.5k after that first pillar. So we're doing great. So I'm very happy about that. That means the Convoke Berserk paid off. I already knew it would from testing this so many times. But that's it. You're probably going to find yourself also regrowthing yourself. Unfortunately, the tooltip is hiding our healing, but this boss is very healing intensive. And just so you're aware too, the big damages coming out of this fight are the smash and the roar. So for every smash, like I said, if you open on this boss with a bark skin, you're going to have your bark skin up for every smash, and then you just time your survival instincts cooldown, your big wall cooldown, during one of the phases where he knocks you back. Okay, so he's about to go ahead. I have my bark skin up, where this is going to be a Convoke cooldown. So just go ahead and bite really quickly and then Convoke. Also on these things, when it's pillars, what I would suggest is check out the boss cooldown when he's about to come off. No matter where you are in your rotation as far as combo points, always try to bite before the boss leaves the pillar. I don't care if you have barely any energy. It doesn't really matter. The 200% value is really strong. You know, so this is probably the only scenario where it's like, hey, you know, you don't need to worry about the 50 energy. Just bite when you can. This fight with boss was also a little bit weird because I had 2 unused trinkets, so I kind of just rotated that whenever I could. I had, shoot, I forget the name now. I have the trinket that gives you the main stats, so whatever your main stat is, it picks one of those. I matched those for the big cooldowns, so whenever I had Berserk and Convoke up. And then other than that, I don't know whatever this other trinket is, but I tried to use that whenever the boss is slammed. So this is another one. We don't really have any cooldowns, so we're just trying to survive here, keep up in damage. So you can see we're kind of dipping in damage quite significantly, and that's just because, hey, the way our cooldowns are is we're kind of just holding a lot of our cooldowns. You see us holding Berserk. We have Berserk up. We're just kind of holding that for a big hit on the 8th pillar. You can see here also I have an add-on for my quantum device. That's what it's called. You can see it's trying to heal people. Be really careful with that quantum device when you use it. You definitely do not want that to be healing somebody. Although I'm sure they'd be thankful for that. So I'm messing up a rotation here. I'm looking at my healing thing here, and I'm trying to realize, hey, do I want to heal somebody else? With my regrowth procs, and unfortunately I spent too much time looking at that and I didn't refresh or rip. But that's okay. So I'm popping all my cooldowns here. I do not have my second pot up, but that's okay. I'll have it up for the last smash that we do. But we're doing a lot of damage here. This is kind of where we catch up in the damage meters. Like I said again, anytime you have Berserk and Convoke up with the smash, your damage is going to be absolutely absurd. Okay, this is getting really sketchy here. We're getting close to the kill. People are dying, tanks are dying. I actually choose to regrowth myself. I think I even hardcast regrowth. But the boss is almost dead, and at one point I just started regrowthing myself because I don't want to die. And I think it paid off. Maybe it gave a few seconds, I'm not sure. I'm like, oh, don't step on me. So I kind of get out of the way. Pop my trinket, every last ditch effort, pop my cooldown. You have cooldown for every smash, like I said. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, So I'm just gonna regrowth myself. But eventually it worked out. I think we had 4 people left up alive. Myself, a tank, a Holy Pally, and then a Demon Hunter DPS. But that was it. So glad that fight was over. If you guys have any questions, I know it's a little bit different. If you guys have any questions, like I said, a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge on this fight. I'd love to help you guys out, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.